Welcome y'all to another video. Today it's going to be a little bit something different because I want to I'm going to use this moment for story time, if anything. Imagine if you had an opportunity because of social anxiety, you had an opportunity to work with somebody who you had an opportunity that you're a photographer, and there was somebody who you saw in your neighborhood or even around the vicinity where you're at, and you saw how amazing they are, and in your mind you knew how giftedly talented they were, especially a specific model or a woman who has potential model, and you were going to at least figure a way that you wanted to ask to work with them, but you don't know if they're scared, you don't know if they're going to say yes or no, so you don't end up doing it, and then you end up realizing it's the biggest mistake in your life. That happened to me several years ago. So allow me to give you a story time that you probably wouldn't not believe. So this lovely lady on your screen right here, and I'm going to put her out there, if anything. This woman, I had a brief encounter with, and every single day of my life I regretted not having a better communication with her the moment that we met. This story is going to give you a perfect example, and I want to use this story about this situation as a learning for anybody out there, whoever is in the photography world. If you're a photographer and you always feel like there's an opportunity of someone who could be a good use for you to work with, and use this, in your case, as a means to always remind yourself that, if you don't do something now, you'll regret it later. So this is about 5-10 years ago. I make a trip to Parma, Ohio, which is just right on the skirts of Cleveland. And I'm going there, and I'm visiting there for the summer for about a week because I'm linking up with another talented friend of mine, a girl by the name of Inuki Fox, who is seen on the screen here. Inuki Fox, or Kat, is a good friend of mine. She is a talented, amazing cosplayer and photographer, a cosplayer and model that I have had the pleasure of knowing for about 2 or 3 years. The first time we met, she came from Parma all the way to Toledo to work together. In fact, we did a shoot together, which I consider it one of my favorites. In fact, she's the official model that has worked with me with the infamous Virgin Killer sweater, which is and if you know, as you can see on the screen. So I wanted to pay her back in spades by coming up to her area and shoot with her, because she had told me she has a very big space to shoot in. So we decided to go and shoot at her place. So I took a last minute bus and traveled all the way up there. She and her lovely spouse came to pick me up, went to her place. She has a large place, very, very lovely place of it. And we did pretty much a whole day of shooting. We did several outfits, several fashion shots, and we even did probably a cosplay shoot. But we did 2 looks for the cosplay shoot. We did 3 cosplay shoots technically, but 2 of them are the same character. We did a swimsuit version and then a boudoir version of 02 from Darling in the Franxx, and then we did a diva shoot for Overwatch, which was very awesome that we shot together at that. The shoot went great. Shoot went amazingly great. I have at least a few of the photos which survived from the unfortunate purge that I had to deal with. If you don't know, go to my Instagram, you'll know about the information about that. Within that situation, within that week, I decided to do a little bit of walking around. At one point, I had realized I had forgot my state ID because I needed access to it for a certain reason. It's hard for me to remember. My mind is a little bit hazy in the sense of it. At one point, I went to a DMV that I found out that was right around the area from where Kat lived. So I went in there, and I needed to find some information from there. So there was a small DMV. In that DMV, it's a very, very small area. It's almost about the size of one of those bodega shops that's like with a long hallway for people to walk around in and stand in line when they're going to like burger places and such. Similar to what the Bear, Mr. Beef is, the place that's inspired from the Bear. It's sort of like one of those narrow hallways, but it's a long line, but it's people who are sitting down, and then of course there's the desk. And on the side, there's one chair I was going to sit in, but instead I decided to stand up. And on the edge of one of the chairs, there's one chair to sit. And on that chair was a beautiful woman, bronze skin, long hair, wonderful, gorgeous eyes. wearing a yellow tank top and some very form-fitting jeans and high heels. And I saw her. She had her hair, I believe she had her hair in a ponytail. And at one point, I couldn't stop looking at her, but at the same time, I'm trying to ask questions. And at one point, they're about to call me. And so I went over and then I talked to her and I said from abruptly, out of the front of my head, I said, "Are you a local here?" And she said, "Yes, I'm a local here, but I'm actually going to be moving soon." I wanted to say something else. I said, "You look like someone who models," I said to her. And she said, "Actually, I do." She gave me her Instagram. By some reason, I didn't get a chance to finish talking to her because I'm more interactive in that sense of it. And like I said, that's what led to the scenario of me talking to DMV. And right after that, before I could get another word out, I started panicking because the receptionist was calling for my number. And right when I was about to say something to her, she walks out and I'm talking to the receptionist. I'm trying to get through the whole situation and I was worried about not running her over and going to her. In the midst of it, on the side of my eye, I see her walking all the way to her car. She's going to her car. I'm like, come on, I gotta get this done. I gotta get this done. As soon as she's finished, the woman's done with me, see her in her red convertible and she's gone, drove away. The last thing I remembered was, she had her Instagram and I looked her name up and I couldn't find her. And then for some reason, Instagram was able to find it for her. But by that time, she had already relocated to California. Turns out she's a model and she also is a makeup artist and hair designer. I had followed her for the last several years, but at the same time, I wanted to reach out to her and I told her, I was trying to reach out to you when I was in the DMV and I really wanted to work with you. And she's like, well, I already moved to California. And that was pretty much it. From that day forward, I said to myself, never again, if there's an opportunity that a woman is around my way and I tell her that she has model material, and I do see it, and I do have a good eye for seeing beautiful women who have either material, who have potential in modeling or actually is a model. Rare moment that happened. I was never going to let that opportunity pass me by. In fact, many of the model women that I've worked with recently have actually been the women who were reason why because of Jasmine is because of the fact that I missed out on working with Jasmine is because of that with many of the women. Case in point, two of the women that have been good muses of mine are perfect example of this. One of them being my good friend Carissa, who you see here. She's one of the models that I ran into on TikTok, who is the one that I worked with, and who you can see her video on my YouTube channel as well, on this channel as well, of our photo shoot. And then the other one, a model who I also worked with, we ended up working together too, which you can see her right here as well. And then, to make things even more crazy in the fact of it, I wanted to pay my tribute to her. So one of her shoots, she actually posted on her Instagram page, she's actually posted this photo. And I decided to use that photo as inspiration for not one, but two concepts that I had shot with a lovely woman by the name of Riley, who I worked with in Chicago last year. Shout out to Riley. Just reconfiguring a few things, the look and the styling. But both of those shots were inspired by, as a way of me giving back to her. Since then, she's gone on to be very successful in her modeling career. In fact, she recently, by the time this video comes up, walking runway work for Maxim magazine at the Sky Barla for a swimsuit affair. Now, again, as I mentioned in a previous video a while back, Maxim and me are not on a good term situation because of circumstances that are beyond my control, on the fact of, let's just say Maxim is very supportive for a certain president, as we know right now. And unfortunately, that has lost my respect for Maxim magazine. But I will never, ever besmirch on any talent who gets an opportunity to work for that magazine. As long as they know their political beliefs are not the same that they are, everything's fine. And I hope knows that despite doing walkway stuff for that magazine's swimwear event, hopefully it doesn't affect her political opinions on certain things. But regardless of that, I still wish her the best. I still keep in touch with her. I still love talking about the fact that she was a very big influence for me. And at the same time, every single day, I am reminded of the fact that I regretted not pushing the button. I regretted not pushing myself to talk with her, to communicate more with her, and to find a way that we could work together, because she has done amazing stuff as of this moment and recently and since relocating. And it happens. And the if there was ever an opportunity that I would love to work with her again, it would be done in a gratifying heartbeat. But at that same time, within those years ago, I was not confident enough to communicate with a woman like that, even just on a professional working basis, because sometimes my anxiety gets the best of me and I can't muster up the courage to communicate more with her, to show the opportunity in working with me. But to this day, I have now grown in that work. And since then, years later, I have gone and done amazing work on my own that many people have seen and aspired of myself of it. And they reminded me of that. I deal with my good days and my bad days. But most of the time, the one thing that has always regretted for me was the fact that there have been many moments where I have missed opportunities of working with amazing women. Jasmine being number one with a bullet, because she is, without a doubt, one of those rare moments where I wish that I had done something with her in that sense, with communicating more with her to negotiate an opportunity of working together, because who knows what happens, if anything. But again, working with the other two that I have worked with made it easy for me to say, you know what, I would like to work with you, and no matter how it is. Now, with the other model that I mentioned before, that I also got to work with, she has gone on to do amazing things in her career and gone further out even more. But I believe she's still located in Ohio, regardless of that. But she has done amazing stuff from Florida and California and what have you. But I will still attain to the fact that I got to work with her twice and even got published because of her. And I'm happy for that. Meanwhile, Carissa, I have loved the stuff that we have done together, and we continue to still work together regardless of that situation. And plus, she lives a little bit closer to me, so it's easier for us to work together. So I'm happy for that. With that being said, what is the moral of this situation? Well, the moral of this situation is never miss an opportunity to work with somebody in this industry, especially if you're a newcoming photographer. If there's any woman out there, man or woman, or any word in binary sense of it, if you see someone with the potential to work together, or you think that they have a modeling situation together, don't be afraid to go up to them respectfully and professionally to see that they have that potential. You never know. It's easy in the cosplay world to do so because they're expecting that sometimes. Most of the cosplayers, with all the hard work that they put into their work, into their costume, it's expected for them to do that. But outside of that, whether it's the swimsuit, the fashion and glamour industry of photography, you trying to convince somebody to model is like basically it's no different than some people consider a car sales salesman trying to sell a car to a customer. The difference is that you're absolutely qualified and you're absolutely legit when you're making the sale. It's the difference between that and a car salesman. My job sometimes when it comes to convincing someone who has not never modeled in their lives to tell them that they have the opportunity to be a very talented model. And then there are some who in this industry who haven't modeled in years and don't look like they want to model again, but then you convince them to model one more time and they end up doing it. Perfect example, Mindy. Mindy is a lovely Australian lady that I met at a pharmacy store who was the first Australian that I actually knew. And she years ago used to model and never modeled in a while back until she worked with me, which you can see right here. It doesn't look like she lost her touch. And I think she hasn't modeled in 7-8 years. Now, it's not to say, and there are sometimes that happens, but, and of course, there's always the fear of rejection or decline, and that happens, and it's sometimes a bummer, especially if you're a photographer like me in this industry who is also on the spectrum. And you get that opportunity and you want to ask them to work together, but they tell you no, or respectfully decline, or hell, you don't even get a response. Sometimes those moments can hurt a lot. So what do? You keep pressing on, because there will be a moment that afterwards you will find that person who might be that muse to help you with that. And I've been lucky enough to have many muses. Again, I've had many muses, which I all appreciate every single one of them taking their time to work with me, to collaborate with me, and to make amazing work together. Some of them are from people that I know myself, some of them that I knew from the early beginning and just reached out to and got the chance to do that. I actually have another story that I will leave for another time about one particular muse that I basically helped them find themselves in their beauty, finds the confidence in themselves, and help them become even better than they expected to be. And since then has gone on to do greater things in that sense. But I want to save that for another video. But if anything, if you're watching this video, I hope somehow, some way, fate brings us back together and we can actually try to work together. Now that I have grown in my work to the point where I am confident enough to make sure you and I can finally do amazing work together. I also hope that wish nothing but the best for you, nothing but the best for your career, your makeup and your modeling work. Just know I will always be a fan of yours. Always keep in touch, as always we do in our communications. But also at the same time, going back to what I said earlier, I hope fate comes around to have us work together again and meet together again. And properly, I can give you the opportunity, or maybe you can give me the opportunity to create some amazing work together. And I only hope that I'll be around as well as you will be around, closer to do so. So with that being said, I figured this was a good story that I could tell to help boost your confidence. So that way, when you, the photographer out there who's just listening and watching, ever wants to find a certain person of muse of your own, and you don't know if they're going to be somebody that you might pass on for a quick second, never, ever waste an opportunity to ask them to see if they can create with you, because you never know. They might be that person that could be the golden goose to help you lay that golden egg of an opportunity to create some amazing stuff within your photography. So with that being said, I hope you guys learn something and enjoy something in this video. If anything, make sure you like this video, subscribe if you can, click on the notification bell, comment, and let me know about if you're a photographer and you've had that experience, or if you have any questions or any comments. And also feel free to share this video if you can. And if you want to check out more of my work as well, make sure you either go to my Instagram, which is Jurai Media, or you can go to my official website at JuraiMedia.format.com. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.